Dzień dobry Państwu. Witam na konferencji prasowej dotyczącej rozwoju Grupy ORLEN w obszarze morskiej energetyki wiatrowej. W imieniu pana Daniela Obajtka, prezesa zarządu PKN ORLEN i gospodarza dzisiejszego wydarzenia, witam serdecznie. Pana
ORLEN, I would like to welcome
sekretarza stanu w
Mr.
Ministerstwie
Marek Gróbarczyk,
Infrastruktury,
Secretary of State in the Ministry of Infrastructure,
panią Annę Łukaszewską, Trzeciakowską,
Anna Łukaszewska-Trzeciakowska, Secretary of State, Plenipotentiary of the Government for Strategic Energy Infrastructure.
Witam pana Majka
I would like to
Crowley,
welcome
prezesa zarządu
Marek
Northland
Crowley,
Power.
Northland Power, the CEO of the Management Board.
Witam pana senatora Jana
I would like to
Dobrzyńskiego.
welcome Senator Jan Dobrzyński,
Witam pana posła Artura Szałabawkę.
Member of Parliament Artur Szałabawka,
Witam obecnych parlamentarzystów i senatorów. Witam zarząd
members of
ORLEN
Parliament
Neptun
and
z panem
senators.
Robertem Nowickim.
Management Board of Neptun ORLEN with Nowicki, the President of the Management Board.
Wojciecha Zdanowicza,
Wojciech
dyrektora
Zdanowicz, the
Urzędu Morskiego
Director of
Szczecina.
Maritime Office in Szczecin.
Pana Krzysztofa Urbasia,
Krzysztof
prezesa
Urbaś,
Zarządu Morskich Portów Szczecin i
President of
Świnoujście.
Management Board of Szczecin-Świnoujście Seaport
Witam
Authority.
władze samorządowe. Pana
The
Zbigniewa
local government
Boguckiego,
authorities,
wojewodę
Zbigniew Bogucki,
zachodniopomorskiego.
the Governor of West Pomerania Province,
Witam panią Barbarę Michalską,
Barbara Michalska,
prezydent Świnoujścia.
the Deputy Mayor of Świnoujście,
Witam władze uczelni, pracowników
the
grupy
authorities
ORLEN,
of
zaangażowanych
universities,
ekspertów, media,
employees of
obserwatorów
the
mediów
ORLEN Group,
społecznościowych,
representatives of the
zaproszonych
media,
gości. Dzień dobry
and
Państwu.
those of you who observe what we are doing here through
Zapraszam na scenę
social
pana
media.
Daniela Obajtka,
I would like to
prezesa
ask
zarządu ORLEN.
Daniel
Panie
Obajtek,
prezesie,
the
bardzo proszę.
President of the Management Board of ORLEN, to take the floor now.
Pani Minister, Panie
Ms. Minister, Mr. Minister, Governor,
Prezydent,
Ms. Mayor,
Panowie i Panie
ladies and
Parlamentarzyści,
gentlemen, members of
Szanowni
the Parliament,
prezesi,
dear
Szanowni goście, Szanowni
presidents of
media.
management boards, dear guests, dear media representatives. Transformation is inevitable. Transformation is our future. Transformation builds jobs,
Unowocześnia nas gospodarczo,
modernizes
rozwija
us
nasz
economically, develops our country,
wprowadza nowe technologie,
introduces new technologies,
wszystkim
and
również
first of all,
nie tylko zabezpiecza stronę
also,
biznesową,
it does not
ale
only
przede
support the
wszystkim
business side,
nowe
but
technologie,
first of all,
tania energia elektryczna,
supports
tanie
new technologies,
paliwa.
cheap
To również
electricity,
szansa
cheap
dla
fuels.
gospodarki,
That's
dla
a chance, an
konkurencyjności
opportunity for the
gospodarki.
competitiveness of our economy. This is inevitable. If we want to keep developing, we have to invest a lot. No country, no business will develop if we do not invest billions.
Tak w Orlenie pojmujemy
And that's how at ORLEN we perceive investment processes. This is why we created a multi-energy company. That's why our strategy envisages 320 billion zloty to keep developing economy, to keep developing ORLEN, to secure the energy security of our beloved country. In our strategy, 120 million are spent for the transformation process. Out of that amount of 120 billion, 70 billion is for modern energy generation.
farmy na
We
lądzie,
are building farms
budujemy farmy
on
fotowoltaiczne
land.
i
We are building photovoltaic farms, and we are involved in very huge acquisition processes in zero-emission sources. We have built 700 megawatts,
W tym roku
but this
dokonaliśmy
year
już
we have
akwizycji
already
na około 800 megawatów. Do
positioned
końca roku
approximately
będziemy mieć w
800
energetyce
megawatts.
zeroemisyjnej
By the end of the year,
1500
in zero-emission energy generation, we will have
Ale oczywiście nasz
1,500
plan
megawatts.
to 9
But of course,
tysięcy
our plan is
Będziemy go bardzo
9,000
szybko i
megawatts.
dynamicznie
We
realizować.
will be developing this program, pursuing it very dynamically. It's not only zero-emission energy generation, it's also low-emission energy generation. That's about gas power plants, because we need to have power plants that are disposal that support the system. And that's why we are also here very intensively carrying out our investment processes. Today we are taking an important step in the direction of transformation, a very important day for Świnoujście, Szczecin and the whole Pomerania. This is also a very important day for myself, because for myself this has been a strategic project, as it was for the management board of ORLEN. I would like to announce to you that we have been able to obtain all construction permits. We have the investment decision granted to us, and now we are starting the construction of the first offshore Baltic wind farm of the capacity of 1,200 megawatts.
Bardzo duże przedsięwzięcie.
A very large economic
19 września
undertaking.
podpisaliśmy
On the
pierwsze
19th of September,
umowy
we
na
signed the first
finansowanie
contracts
tej
for
inwestycji na
financing
23
this
lata.
investment over a period of 23 years.
20
The value
miliardów
is
złotych.
20
Proszę sobie
billion
wyobrazić tę
zloty.
kwotę.
Try to
20
imagine this
miliardów
amount,
złotych.
20 billion zloty.
Zabezpieczeniem tej kwoty nie są aktywa Orlenu. Zabezpieczeniem
Collateral for this amount is not
to
assets of
największe
ORLEN. The collateral is the investment itself. This is the biggest
finansowalny projekt w Polsce.
financeable project, investment project in Poland.
Zapewni miejsca pracy.
This is a project that will provide jobs. This is a project that will ensure a huge
Morska farma
development.
będzie
The offshore wind farm will produce energy to match the needs of around 1,500,000 inhabitants of the country.
2026 roku.
Energy production will start in
podpisane umowy z
2026.
firmami,
We have
które
signed
będą
contracts
inwestycje
with
wykonywać.
companies that will be
Mamy
carrying out this
zamknięty cały
investment.
łańcuch
We
dostaw.
have completed the whole
To
supply
nie jest
chain.
jedyna inwestycja.
This is not
Oczywiście
the only investment,
będą
though. Of
produkowane w
course,
Szczecinie
in Szczecin,
gondole do
nacelles will
Vestasa.
be produced
też
for Vestas
następna bardzo
wind
duża
turbines.
inwestycja.
This is
Nie
another
robimy
very
inwestycji
big
sami dla
investment.
siebie. Tak
Because we are not
duży
running our
koncern
investments for
międzynarodowy
ourselves.
musi również
Such a
rozwijać
large
gospodarkę,
international
musi również
concern
rozwijać
has
inne
to
gałęzie gospodarki,
develop
musi
other branches of
rozwijać
economy
firmy,
too.
musi być
It has to
polski
develop other
łańcuch
companies.
dostaw w
It
całym
has
tym
to
procesie.
ensure that there is a
jest
whole
konieczne dla
Polish
rozwoju
value
tych terenów.
supply chain throughout the process. This is a necessity.
Inwestycja w fabrykę Vestasa,
An investment in
inwestycja związana z budową
Vestas
pierwszej
factory,
farmy na
an
Bałtyku.
investment related to the construction of the first
Ale
wind
to
farm
nie
on
jest
the Baltic
dziś
Sea.
ostatnie ogłoszenie.
But this is not the last
Dziś
announcement I have to
zaczynamy
make today.
budować
Today we are
pierwszy
starting
port
to build the
instalacyjny
first installation
w
port
Świnoujściu. Jeden
in
z
Świnoujście,
najnowocześniejszych
one of the
portów
most modern
instalacyjnych w
installation
Europie.
ports in Europe.
Jeżeli nie stworzylibyśmy
If we
logistyki,
did not create the
która ma
logistics behind
zabezpieczyć
it
biznes,
to
a do tego
secure
jeszcze
the
spółek
business
serwisujących i wielu innych, których
and
będziemy
servicing
budować
companies and many others
kompetencje, nie moglibyśmy
for which we
otrzymać
will be
finansowania.
building competencies, we would not
Finansowanie
have been
to
able
20
to
miliardów,
obtain the
to
financing. The
25
financing amounts to
instytucji
20
finansowych
billion
z Polski i
zloty.
ze
That's
świata.
25 financial
Czyli
institutions from
te
Poland and
instytucje
abroad.
finansowe wierzą w
These
ten projekt,
financial
wierzą w
institutions do
opłacalność tego
believe in this
projektu,
project.
wierzą
They
w stopę
believe
zwrotu
in
i
the
wierzą
profitability of
w
the project,
inwestorów, bo
in the
inaczej nie byłoby
rate of
kapitału
return.
tego rodzaju
They believe
inwestycji.
in what we are doing here. Otherwise, we
Te
would not have
wszystkie
got the
inwestycje
capital
to
for
ponad
this
1000
investment.
miejsc
All
pracy,
these
w
investments
tym
amount to
terenie 1000
over
miejsc.
1,000 jobs
A
in
nie
this
zawsze,
area.
proszę Państwa, było tak.
But
I nie
this has
możemy
not always
odcinać
been
się od
like that,
historii w żadnym wypadku.
and we should not cut
Jeszcze w
ourselves away from
2015
history.
roku bezrobocie w zachodnim
As recently as
Pomorskim sięgało
2015,
13%.
The unemployment rate in
bezrobocie
West
to
Pomerania
jest
province
około
was
6%.
around 13%.
Region
Now it's
doskonale zna słowo
6%. The
prywatyzacja
region
i
knows the word privatization and liquidation very well. In 2009, 10,000 jobs were made redundant.
stoczni.
The shipyard was
To nie
liquidated.
tylko kwestia aktywów.
It's not just about the assets.
Umiejętności tych ludzi.
It's the
To
question of the
kwestia
skills of those people that
ich
were lost.
inwestycji. I
It's the
państwo
question of
inwestuje.
investing in
Ci ludzie
to
wyjechali
the
do
state
innych
and
krajów.
into
Tam
that
budują siłę
business that
tych gospodarek. Nie
collapsed.
budują tej
Those
siły.
people left the country to build the economies of other countries. They are not building our economy, and this is a loss that will always be
Aktywa
difficult to
można
recover.
wybudować siłami
I've said
zewnętrznymi
this
lub wewnętrznymi.
before. Assets
Ale
can be recovered
utworzyć całą
using
kadrę
our own
inżynierską,
external
konstrukcyjną.
sources, but to
jest bardzo
recreate the
trudne.
whole
To
construction
jest
and
proces
engineering
długotrwały.
stuff is a very
Musimy za
hard
wszelką
job.
cenę
It's a
zachować
long-term
miejsca
process.
pracy, tworzyć
So
miejsca
we
pracy,
have to
ale
keep the
tworzyć
jobs we
miejsca
have,
pracy w
and
nowych
we have to
technologiach.
create the new jobs and create them
Również
in new technologies.
Taki sam plan
Also, a similar plan
w 2015
in 2015
w lutym
February, I have a document here, was drawn up by the management board of ORLEN.
tak zwana
The so-called
optymalizacja struktury grupy ORLEN.
optimization of ORLEN Group structure without
Z tego planu,
investments.
proszę Państwa, wynika,
This plan
że miały
indicates
przestać istnieć,
that
być sprywatyzowane takie spółki.
privatization
Solino,
was
ORLEN Cold Trans,
planned for
ORLEN
these
Projekt,
companies
ORLEN
that I'm
Ochrona,
enumerating
Anwil,
now.
ORLEN Cuk i rafineria Trzebina.
And Trzebinia Refinery,
Czyli
the last one.
To jest 7 spółek, ale proszę
This
Państwa, to nie 7.
is 7
To
companies,
30 spółek miało zniknąć,
but there
które
was actually
zabezpieczają
a plan
Interorlen.
to make
Ten
sure that
dokument
30
z
companies were
2015
supposed to
roku zeszły.
disappear that were securing the stability of
Gdyby to się
ORLEN.
stało,
And that
ORLEN
document
przestałby istnieć.
comes from January 2015.
ORLEN
And
nie
if
miałby
this
siły,
was to happen,
nie miałby możliwości
ORLEN would not have
inwestowania,
survived.
nie miałby
ORLEN would
możliwości
not
rozwijać
have
gospodarki.
had the strength to invest, to keep developing the economy.
2015
ORLEN
roku
would not have survived.
sprzedano w
In
tamtym
2015, at that
jeden z
time,
strategicznych spółek. ORLEN
one of the
Transport.
strategic companies was sold, ORLEN Transport.
Sprzedano to spółkę funduszową.
That company
Spółkę,
was sold
która
to
była
a
praktycznie
fund,
monopolistą
a company that
dostarczeniu
was
paliw
actually
ciepłych na
a
nasze
monopole
stacje.
holder for liquid fuel delivery to our gas
Fundusz
stations.
zarządzał tą spółką,
Of course,
ale
the
nie
fund
robił
did
procesu
manage that company,
inwestycyjnego.
but did not run investment
Straciliśmy
processes.
flotę.
We were losing our
Proszę sobie
fleet.
wyobrazić, gdybyśmy tej
Imagine,
spółki nie
please,
kupili
if
2 lata
we
temu, nie
did
dokapitalizowali,
have
nie
not
zwiększyli floty samochodów. Co by było w czasie COVID-u? Co byłoby w
repurchased that
trakcie
company 2 years ago,
kryzysu
what would have
związanego z
happened
wojną
during
na
the COVID?
Ukrainie?
What would
Co
have
byłoby z
happened
całym
during
łańcuchem
the
logistycznym?
Ukraine war crisis? What would have happened to the whole logistics chain? We would not have been able to deliver fuels to our gas stations. There would have been a huge problem with the increase of around 30% in volumes, while sometimes volumes run
I też muszę
up to
się, proszę
100%.
Państwa, odnieść
I need to make a reference here also
danych,
to
które
the
są
data
oczywiście, że prawdziwe,
that is
ale są
of
również
course true,
publikowane.
but is also published.
Zyski przez 7,5 roku
Profits for 7.5 years of
84
ORLEN
miliardy
have been
To są
84
zyski,
billion
które zostały
zloty.
częściowo odebrane
These
mafiom
are
paliwowym.
those that have been taken
Zyski
partially
Orlenu
away from
od 2008
fuel mafias. The
do 2015
profits of ORLEN between
roku
2008 and
to jest
2015
2
were
miliardy
2 billion
To nie
900,000
wystarczyłoby
zloty.
odtwarzać
This
tak naprawdę
would not have been
majątku
enough
Orlenu.
to recover or restore
nie
the assets of
wystarczyłoby
ORLEN,
zabezpieczać
meaning this
interes
would not have been
państwa,
enough
to
to
jest
secure the
infrastruktura
interests of the state, because after all, this is all a critical infrastructure.
Środki na inwestycje, które już
The
wydaliśmy,
means for or funds
Przez
for
7,5 roku.
infrastructure that we have
To jest
spent
94
over the last
miliardy
7.5
Środki, które
years
wydano przez
is
8
over
lat.
90 billion zloty. The
od 8 do
funds
2015 to jest zaledwie 24 miliardy. To jest 3 miliardy rocznie. Proszę.
the amount spent between
Tak jak podkreśliłem, nie
2008 and
wystarczało nam
2015 were 24 billion zloty,
Ale
which
również
would not have been
ORLEN ma
enough
inne
for
zadania, nie tylko
restore the
zadania
assets.
biznesowe i nie tylko
However,
zadania
ORLEN has
związane
other
z
jobs too, not only
bezpieczeństwem
business
naszego
jobs
kraju,
and
ma
jobs
też
related
zadania
to
społeczne,
ensuring the
jak
security of
to
our
taka
country,
duża
but
firma
also we
musi
have
spełniać
social
zadania
tasks, because a company
W
that
tych
big
latach
needs
na
to
zadania społeczne
fulfill
była kwota
social tasks.
Przez 8 lat 69 milionów.
In previous
Dziś na
years,
zadania społeczne
ORLEN
bez
spent
roku
69
2023 jest to kwota
Now,
802 miliony.
we have spent
Proszę zobaczcie
802
sobie, jaka to jest.
million zloty. Look at the difference in scale.
I na tym miałem dziś przemówienie skończyć.
And this was
Ale
where
jeszcze
I
muszę
was supposed
powiedzieć
to stop
prawdziwych słów.
my
Do tego
speech,
zobowiązali
but
mnie
I have to say a few words,
firmy
true words.
Ludzie, którzy
I've been
przez
obligated
te
to do
lata
that by employees of
Orlenu.
ORLEN. those people who have been building the strength of ORLEN for the last years, the managers in ORLEN, asked me to take the floor on their behalf, and I would like to once again state this
liderom opozycji,
to the leaders of the opposition, who very often lie or misguide us
w zakresie prywatyzacji Lotosu.
with regards to the privatization of Lotos. That is a lie. I would like to stress that the assets of Lotos have become an integral part of the ORLEN concern. Both the assets of Lotos and PGNiG have become an integral part of ORLEN. This is the process of merger through acquisition, or taking over. In this way, the state treasury has increased its share in this national concern. In those years, the state treasury had 20 or something percent in ORLEN, and ORLEN was open to be taken over by someone else. Now, the state treasury has over 40% share in ORLEN. Now, as it comes to Gdańsk refinery was singled out of Lotos assets as a separate company, and today Gdańsk refinery is an integral part of the ORLEN Group. It has ORLEN also has 70% share in it. 30% of shares are held by Saudi Aramco. So the refinery is fully controlled by the ORLEN Group. Why did this happen? It happened because, while wishing to carry out the fusion process, which those gentlemen should have done 30 or 20 years ago, just like other European companies, so that we could compete in the European market, we had to fulfill the EU Commission conditions, because this was a concentration of two competing companies. The EU Commission told us to sell 30% of Lotos refinery assets, not of the refinery, not of the whole Lotos company. Ladies and gentlemen of Brussels, this was necessary for us to be able to carry out this process. Now, talking about evaluations, and this is being said by politicians who have no idea how many international companies worked on the evaluation. They have no idea that evaluations are also made of synergies obtained through the merger. That's billions of zloty. This year we have already received 30 million in synergy value. That's a very important element too. A common purchase of crude oil. And they forget to tell the truth that this, up till now, for the first 6 months of the year, we paid over 36 billion zloty into the budget. By the end of the year, we will have paid 50. This is the amount for which around 1,000 companies were sold in those years back then, since 2008 to 2015. Now, as a Pole, not as president of the ORLEN Management Board, this company is taking care of the business in the country. We are one of the 5 fastest developing companies in the world, not just in Poland. We are a champion of business. We are a company that Poles can be proud of. Is this normal that a company like ours is being attacked? A company that is ensuring security and stability? I did not see those politicians protesting against international fuel companies. So why are they doing this against their own company that is taking care of the security of energy in Poland? A company that is supporting us? A company that, through mergers, can stabilize prices? For the last 2 years, we've had one of the cheapest fuels in Europe. And that's because of all the processes we have carried out. It's because of that today our fuel is one of the cheapest in Europe. It's we who are protecting the Polish market. It's we who are protecting the economy It's us who are carrying out these investments.
Irrespective of the elections, it is absolutely bad to attack the company that secures the interests of the economy. This is my word as the citizen of this country, not as the president of the company. And just in the end, I would like to thank the people who contributed to the investments to be carried out in this particular place. So I would like to mention Mr. Grubarczyk. You helped a lot regarding the harbor. This harbor is strategic. It's very important. This is opening the window to the door to the new farm, the offshore farms in the Baltic Sea. I know you would like to transfer everything from Warsaw to Szczecin and Świnoujście, but of course this is a very important thing to all of us and to the construction of other farms, not only ours. This is the harbor which will be used by international companies. This whole basin of Baltic Sea. I would like to thank Mr. Patakowski. I would like to thank the governor and members of the parliament. These are all the decisions in favor of this project. I would like to thank the city as well. Irrespective of the time, we have to work together to use all these mechanisms for the growth of the company. Otherwise, we would be very weak in terms of economy, and I think we are not going for that. I would like to thank once again for your presence. Thank you for today. I'm proud to be here on that particular day that we can start this project and we can start next project. There's a chance, there's an opportunity for West Pomerania, for the whole country.
Zapraszam na scenę pana Marka Grubarczyka.
Mr. Grubarczyk will take the floor, the Secretary of State in the Ministry of Infrastructure.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You are already a host of this particular date, the members of Parliament, the members, Ms. Mayor, directors, all ladies and gentlemen who attend this meeting. Furthermore, I would like to say that here in Western Pomerania, it is absolutely the largest scale of investment projects and the expansion of different kinds of investment projects that are aimed at creating extraordinary, significant and safe region. It's worth remembering that we had, of course, completed the project of the fairway from Szczecin to Świnoujście, 12.5 meters deep, to allow the bigger vessels to enter the harbor of Szczecin. A few days ago, there was a new ferry terminal that was opened, much larger, which allows for the servicing and operation of larger vessels.
Zakończonym, myślę, o tym będzie mówiła pani minister Trzeciakowska, trzeci stokarz port w gazoporcie. Dla nas niezwykle istotne są zakończony, wybudowany i zakończony piers eksportowy. Gaz nie tylko będzie do Polski wpływał, ale i również będzie wypływał w ramach sprzedaży. No i szanowni państwo, w zasadzie dzisiejsza decyzja Generalnej Dyrekcji Ochrony Środowiska, która dała nam zgodę, a więc uzyskaliśmy pozwolenie środowiskowe na budowę terminala kontenerowego w Świnoujściu. Kolejny element niezwykle ważny. Zgodnie z tym zakończył się już pierwszy przetarg w zakresie analizy nawigacyjnej pozwalający na rozpoczęcie budowy nowego podejścia do właśnie tego portu, do gazoportu, do zespołu portów szczecińskich, po polskich portach, nie po naszych sąsiadów, ale po naszych portach. Rozpoczynamy realizację tej inwestycji. Niezwykle
And
ważny
today,
dzień
extremely
również
important
dla
day
tego miejsca,
for this particular
które
place,
chyba
for
również
this
było
particular
przewidziane
site,
do
that
prywatyzacji.
had been
A
probably
więc,
also planned to be
port,
privatized.
który odkupił
The harbor
stocznię
that
Gryfia w
purchased,
Świnoujściu.
acquired
Dzisiaj
the Gryfia
poprzez przetarg,
shipyard
który został zorganizowany
in Świnoujście,
i najlepszą
and
ofertę
today
złożył właśnie
the
ORLEN.
offer was
Dzisiaj rozpoczynamy
placed, submitted by
niezwykle ważną
ORLEN,
inwestycję
so
w postaci
today we
budowy
start
portu
this investment that is the
offshorowego.
new offshore
1000
terminal.
miejsc pracy. Mamy
1,000
nadzieję, że to
jobs. We
zwielokrotni
hope this would be
jeszcze
multiplicated,
ilość tych miejsc
There will be more
pracy, a przede
jobs
wszystkim
created
stworzy
soon,
niezwykle
and
ważne
then
miejsce,
we
jeśli
will
chodzi właśnie o
create a very important
ekspansję, jak
site
to
for the
nazywamy, na Morze
expansion
Bałtyckie, bo to
towards
się
onto the
rozpocznie
Baltic Sea. This is where
transport na Morze
the
Bałtyckie,
transport of the pieces
turbin, a
for
przede
the
wszystkim
turbines and
infrastruktury,
the whole infrastructure for the offshore farm. This will
Niezwykle
start here.
ważna,
Very
niezwykle
important,
potrzebna i konieczna
very needed, and very
To też
required
jest
and necessary thing.
niezwykle ważne, że
This is extremely
ten,
important
a
that,
do tej pory nie było to takie pewne.
well, so far it has not been
Te
that
turbiny
certain
nie
that the
pojadą z
turbines
Sassnic albo z
would not be
Rena
moved from Arena or Sassnitz. They will be moved
myślę,
from here. They were transported from
panie
Świnoujście.
prezesie, że
And Mr.
nie
Chairman, I
poprzestanie
think
pan tylko
you would not
na polskich
you would not
koncesjach
just,
i tu gratuluję, które pan uzyskał,
finish
ale
your work with
również
the Polish
cały
permits,
Bałtyk,
but the entire
cały
Baltic Sea
będzie
will
zasilany z tego
soon
portu
be
właśnie w morską
serviced
Bałtykę
from
ekwadorową,
this
a
particular
koncesje
terminal.
na całym
And the
Bałtyku
licenses for the
trafią
entire
do
Baltic
Orlenu.
will then be in the hands of Orlen. Thank you.
Dziękuję bardzo, panie ministrze.
Thank you, Mr. Grubaczyk.
Zapraszam na scenę panią Annę
And it's time for Mrs.
sekretarz
Anna
stanu pełnomocnik
Trzeciakowska,
Rządu do Spraw Strategicznej Infrastruktury Energetycznej.
representative of the board
Bardzo
for
proszę,
the
pani minister.
strategic infrastructure.
Szanowny Panie Prezesie, Szanowny Panie Ministrze, Szanowni Państwo Parlamentarzyści, Pani
Members of
Prezydent,
Parliament,
Panie Wojewodo.
Lady
To
Mayor,
jest dobry i
Governor,
ważny dzień
this is
dla
a good
spółek,
and important day for
bo to jest
companies,
zawsze duża
because
satysfakcja,
it's also a
kiedy
big
skończy się
satisfaction
ten
when
czas pracowania w
the
tle, z
time of the
dokumentami.
background work stops, the
Zaczyna się
paperwork
pracować w terenie.
stops, and then you start the
Paradoksalnie jest
field work.
najprostszy, przychodzi
Well, this
najpóźniej
is
i daje
the
najwięcej
simplest, but
satysfakcji.
it comes in
To,
the
co
end, but
wcześniej
it is very
niewidoczne
satisfactory.
dla
Something that
postronnych
is
jest trudne,
invisible
wymagające i
and
gratuluję, że
difficult,
udało się
and
to
of course
osiągnąć. Zakładamy
we're happy that it has been
terminach, bo to
completely
oznacza, że
completed
jak
satisfactorily.
zawsze zresztą
But
dotrzymujemy
as always, we
i
keep our
harmonogramów
promises and we keep the
To
words
jest
and we keep
bardzo
the time
ważny
schedules.
dzień i bardzo
It is an
dobry dzień dla
important
regionu.
day for
Mówił
the
Pan
entire
Prezes,
region.
o tym mówił Pan
This is what
Minister.
Mr. Minister underlined
Świnoujście w
and
tej
Mr.
chwili
Chairman
jest centrum
underlined. Świnoujście is the
offshore'owym,
center of
centrum
the offshore
offshore'owego świata
business
zachodniopomorskim,
in West
bije
Pomerania.
serce offshore'u
This is where the
polskiego.
offshore
I rzeczywiście mam nadzieję
heart beats,
bałtyckiego
and not
nie
only
za
the
długo,
Świnoujście,
ale
but
również
also the
serce
Baltics.
energetyczne
And this is also the
kraju
heart
tutaj
of
się
the power
przeniosło.
generation, which was
Tutaj
moved
wychodzi nasz
from one
korytarz
country
życia
to.
Baltic
This
Pipe,
is the Baltic Pipe,
który
the corridor of
zapewnił nam
life.
w momencie, kiedy wojna energetyczna
When
wybuchła z
the
całą
war
mocą
started, when the
bezpieczeństwa
energy started, this Baltic
dzięki
Pipe assured
zakupom,
the
których dokonał
energy
PGNiG
safety.
w grupie ORLEN. Byliśmy
Thanks to the
bezpieczni
purchases
też
by
na
our
zimę,
PGNiG,
ponieważ udało
PGNiG,
się dokończyć
we
przed terminem
satisfactorily
Baltic Pipe,
completed
3 miesiące przed terminem.
the
Tego nikt
Baltic
nie
Pipe
docenia.
3 months ahead of the
Dokonał
schedule,
tego państwowy gaz system
and that was a
i udało się
state-owned company called
zakontraktować
Gas
gaz w
System,
dobrych cenach. Tego
and
dokonał PGNiG
we as a
grupy ORLEN. Za co bardzo
PGNiG
dziękujemy.
purchased the
Tutaj
gas,
również,
paying very good prices.
Szanowni
And
Państwo,
this is also here,
jest nasza druga brama
where
północy.
we have another
Terminal
gate to
LNG, który pracuje,
the north. This is
imienia
LNG
świętej
terminal
pamięci Lecha Kaczyńskiego, który pracuje
in the
i
memory
dostarcza
of
błękitne paliwo
Mr.
do naszych domów i
Lech
do
Kaczyński,
gospodarki.
the
I rzeczywiście rozbudowujemy
late president.
go.
This
Znowu
terminal
jesteśmy
is
w terminach, on powstanie na
is
tyle
being
szybko, żeby
expanded,
zapewnić
and it will soon be
bezpieczeństwo i z
completed
tym
to
pilsem
absolutely
dodatkowym
provide
eksport.
the
Tak, to prawda, panie ministrze.
security
Tak,
and the
to
safety
prawda
of
i
the
on
government, and
również
the pier, the
obsługiwany
export
jest
pier will also be
statkami,
operated
które leasinguje
by
Orlen i Orlen dostarcza
by
to paliwo
all
do
the ships
naszych
and
domów.
vessels that are
Tutaj
leased
również jest
or
port,
chartered by
port Szczecin
Orlen.
Świnoujście,
This is
który
also the
również
harbor,
bezpieczeństwo
Szczecin Harbor,
energetyczne
which also
naszemu kraju
works
ze
for
Szwajcarii
the
zapewniał. Bo to
safety
tutaj
of
dobijały
energy.
statki z węglem,
Here we
który
had
później
the
był,
vessels
kierowany
carrying
do
the
domów, do
coal,
gospodarstw
which was then
domowych
sent to
wszystkich
households
obywateli. Serce energetyczne
from here all
kraju
over
przenosi
through
się na
different
północ
destinations all over the
Wybrzeża
country. So
i do
the
zachodniopomorskiego.
energy heart was moved to the north of the country. The investments and the project that were mentioned by the former speakers, there's also the tunnel, which is now a fact. Impossible doesn't exist if you manage in a proper way and you are motivated satisfactorily. The deep and fairway, the Vestas factory, and here we would have this installation terminal. This is a very extraordinary harbor, extraordinary terminal. Just to be able to understand what the scale is, just imagine the blade of the terminal, which is 38 meters long, and a nacelle that weighs like 17 big trucks. Just from here, from this particular piece, the installation ships would then be supported by the bottom of the sea, by the seabed, and then this will be loaded the mass, loaded the equipment to install the offshore turbines. So in the short horizon, in the short terms, we are secure in terms of energy, but to be secure in the long perspective, we need to change the fundamental change of our energy mix. It's not just for the change itself. It's for the Polish people, it's for the investors and for the economy, who would work together to provide them with the large volume of price stable volume of energy. This is the challenge for years, for hundreds of years. We are within this process now. And this security or safety, energy security of ourselves, and big, small companies, schools, hospitals, different kind of entities. So we want the state-owned companies to provide energy. These are the companies that diversified the directions of the supply, diversified the types of fuel, and they all play a key role in the process of transformation. A key role of the big energy groups of energy companies that take part in this process. This future mix is a large scale, neutral. We need, of course, the stable energy, but we need also the flexible gas sources. We need small reactors, and we also need, of course, offshore, which is very stable. The ORLEN has got the volume of these projects with their heads. There are also other groups that are operated by the state treasury. These are Polish nuclear power. The gas system works on that, and a company called PSE that operates the transfer grids, which also needs development. 61 billion to be spent on the development of the electricity transfer, power transfer grids. This is the way we create the energy security of the country, and the capital has got its nationality. And this is the added value. The big projects and mega projects that we need to implement and to carry out. This project will be completed in time. We need to complete and to carry out some associated projects, offshore projects, roads, railroads, piers for the nuclear power plants, which would receive the large parts and large components. So these are big amounts of billions. This is also especially beneficial for the local economies. This is the added value. Thousands of new jobs, of well-paid jobs, which will then be created during the process of this investment and after that. This is also the added value. These are supply chains, thousands of entrepreneurs, smaller and bigger. They would earn doing different kind of jobs. They would earn for a long time. This is what makes the economy accelerate. All these small and big projects will simply accelerate the local and local entrepreneurs.
element. Proszę Państwa, to jest budowanie
Then another
nowych
thing,
rodzajów
this
kultury
is
industrialnej,
new
kultury
industrial
nuklearnej,
culture,
której jeszcze w Polsce
nuclear
nie
culture
mamy, i
needs to be
kultury
developed.
offshore'owej, której
And
się
the
uczymy.
offshore culture that we are
Bo my się
still
uczymy
learning.
budować ten offshore, my już
We-
dużo umiemy, ale
we
cały czas
know a lot,
ten proces
we are skilled enough.
postępuje i to
But
jest
the
również
process is
wartość
ongoing.
dodana.
This
To
also
są
the added
uczniowie, to
value.
są
These
uczeni, ale to jest
are
też
students,
nauka
these are
ramię w
universities,
ramię
but this is also
z
science
naszymi
going
partnerami.
hand in
I
hand
would like to
in our
switch to
path.
English for a while to talk to Mr. Mike Crowley, because the joint venture between ORLEN and Northland is quite important also in this matter. Building the offshore culture, working together hand by hand, the teams from ORLEN and the teams from Northland is the added value which is quite important for us, because the knowledge which we achieved, we can then share and continue our project with different partners. It's quite important, it's essential. And this partnership is so good that I would like to have it as a model in a different future projects, not only in the offshore, but also in the nuclear. Wracając do polskiego i kończąc moje wystąpienie, bo wiem, że Państwo nie lubią długo słuchać.
Just
Bardzo dziękuję,
switching
panie
over to
prezesie,
Poland, I would like to
za
thank
to, że
Mr.
zdecydował się
President
pan na tą
for
technikę tutaj
you
postawić
that you
i
simply decided to
nieważne od tego,
place
jak
this
trudnych
project
czasach
here and
ekonomicznie
took
również
in you,
żyjemy,
irrespective
bo
of
nie
what's
zapominamy,
the
cały
and
czas
how
trwa
difficult it
w
is, how
Europie
difficult
kryzys
time
spowodowany
we are
wojną
facing or going
energetyczną,
through.
nie
We
tylko
got the energy
konwencjonalną.
conflict,
I
the
cały czas
conventional
konsekwentnie ten
conflicts,
mix
and you
zmieniać.
consequently
Dziękuję,
change
panie
this
ministrze, za
energy mix.
nieustanne wsparcie
Thank you for
w
your
tych wszystkich projektach,
for
bo
your
to są projekty
support.
infrastrukturalne.
These are the infrastructure
Ten MOL,
projects
ten nabrzeża,
and the
rozbudowanie kolejnych
piers,
infrastruktur
the
towarzyszących.
expansion of
To jest ogromny
infrastructure,
wysiłek państwa,
development of
zespołu
infrastructure.
również.
It's also a big
Tyle czoła
effort.
i bardzo dziękuję.
I
Dziękuję
respect
wszystkim
your work, so
zaangażowanym w
thank
te
you.
procesy.
I would like to
Bo
thank all the
bezpieczeństwo
people
energetyczne,
involved.
proszę państwa,
Energy
to jest podstawa
security
wszystkich innych
is the
bezpieczeństw.
basis for the other
Musimy to pamiętać.
types of
My,
security. We have to
budując
remember that
bezpieczeństwo i niezależność energetyczną, budujemy tak
working on the
naprawdę
security,
niepodległość tego
we
kraju.
simply build the
I nie
independence of this
zwolniemy,
country.
będziemy to robić
We
dalej. Bardzo
we
dziękuję.
keep going. We will not
Dziękuję,
stop.
pani
Thank you
minister.
very much.
Zapraszam na scenę pana Mike'a Crowley, prezesa
Mr.
zarządu.
Crowley,
Panie
the
prezesie.
CEO of Northland Power.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Mike Crawley. I'm the CEO of Northland Power. Very pleased to be here and very honored to be here with Minister Rubarczyk and Mr. Tchaikovsky. We've met before. That's not bad, eh? And of course, Daniel, you have, that's easy for me. You've been a great partner, and look what our teams have been able to accomplish together. Northland, as some of you may know, has been around for about 35 years, and we got our start building gas-fired, biomass-fired, and renewable power projects all across Canada. But most of our growth really came in the last decade building and developing, financing offshore wind projects in Europe, in the Netherlands, in Germany. And so about 5 years ago, as we were finishing up another project over in, I think, Germany at that time, we started thinking about where the next big wave of growth is going to come for offshore wind, where the next opportunities were going to come. And that drew us to Warsaw. And about 5 years ago, a few of us started coming to Warsaw. And we came to Warsaw and we came to Poland for a few reasons. One, there was a very clear policy framework to incentivize offshore wind, a clear roadmap about how offshore wind was going to happen in Poland. There were ambitious targets, 5.9 gigawatts by 2030, 8 to 11 gigawatts by 2040. And there was a thriving and growing economy in Poland, which was clear and evident. You didn't even have to look at all the numbers to see what a robust economy there was in Poland that would need the energy, that would need every electron that was going to be produced from offshore wind and from all other sources of new electricity generation. So I'm so proud of what this team has accomplished with the financial close for offshore wind. 25 financial institutions, as Daniel mentioned. And I got to tell you, in a year which has been really challenging for offshore wind. Baltic Power is truly one of the few and one of the great bright spots for the sector, which is really a testament to the strength of the Polish offshore wind market. And what a bright spot it is. So it's one of the largest offshore wind projects now in the world. It's using the largest offshore wind turbine, 15 megawatt Vestas turbine, stands about over 250 meters tall, huge turbine, huge feat of engineering developing that turbine. And it's an extraordinary collaboration between ORLEN and Northland Power. I mean, it is two companies, arguably two very different companies from two different parts of the world. But you go into that Baltic Power office, you walk down the halls, you talk to the people there. It is one team. There's not Northland people, there's not ORLEN people. It is one team with one mission, one focus, which is why it's been so successful. And top-tier suppliers. If you look at the supply chain that is behind this project, it is, from our experience, some of the best suppliers in the sector. Certainly Vestas, Van Oord, we've worked together with before. DEME, we've worked together with before. Blatt, Semco, some excellent suppliers. In a supply chain that right now globally is really constrained, this project was able to get the best of the supply chain to build this project. And in terms of kind of the regulators and the policymakers, very thoughtful and prescient in terms of how the regulations were established, agile when they needed to be agile to make sure that projects moved ahead. And altogether, this is what has made this project happen and got this project to this stage of development. So who are the winners in all of this? Well, the winners are the 1 million homes that are now going to get powered with new green electrons. And another way of looking at it, think of all the industry that's going to be powered with renewable power moving forward to drive the Polish economy even further ahead. Huge emissions reduction. Jobs all around Poland. And one thing that's not really widely known is that in our projects we built in the Netherlands and in Germany, there were Polish suppliers down the supply chain as we worked back through and we looked at it after those projects were built. But now there's going to be so much more, including the Vestas facility that's being constructed. So a huge amount of economic development is going to come from this. And Poland will be on the map and is on the map now as one of the leading markets for offshore wind globally. So financial close is a huge milestone, but the next chapter is really about building this project, right? Number one, safely, but also on time, within budget, and I think this will be truly one of the great projects of the next 3 or 4 years that moves ahead in the sector. So, in terms of Northland, I feel, first of all, incredible gratitude and respect for all those that made this happen, all those that were involved in this project and got us to this point. And Northland itself is so honored to be part of this iconic project for Poland. The first offshore wind project in Poland, but the first of many to come. And I tell you, we would love to do more in Poland, and it's a great partnership between Canada, as the Minister alluded to, and Poland on energy, whether it's on SMRs or whether it's on offshore wind, with different companies involved. And we just cannot wait to get together again with all of you in a short period of time, a couple of years, 3 years, to celebrate first power from Baltic Power. Thank you very much.
Dziękuję, panie prezesie. Zapraszam na scenę pana
Now I would like to ask Zbigniew Bogucki, the governor of West Pomerania province, to take the floor now.
Szanowny panie prezesie, gospodarzu tej
Mr.
uroczystości,
President
tego
of
miejsca,
ORLEN, the
pani
host
minister,
of
panie
this
ministrze,
event,
wielce szanowni panowie
Ms. Minister, Mr.
posłowie,
Minister,
pani prezydent,
members of parliament, mayor, CEOs, directors, presidents, everybody gathered here. After all these speeches before me, it's hard to add anything, but I would like to make a reference to history. As it's been said today already, we are now at this place because there have been people out there. There has been a person who had a vision. Here I mean
Lecha Kaczyńskiego.
the former president of the Republic of Poland, the late Lech Kaczyński.
Kiedyś Isaac Newton powiedział, że
Isaac Newton once said
możemy widzieć
that
dalej,
we
możemy
can
widzieć
see
więcej,
further, we can see more,
bo stoimy na barkach
because
gigantów,
we
takim
are standing on the shoulders of
Lech Kaczyński.
giants.
On
President
kiedyś
Lech Kaczyński was a giant like that.
przyjechał tutaj na Pomorze
Once
Zachodnie.
came here to
To
West
Pomorze Zachodnie,
Pomerania.
które było zapomniane.
West Pomerania, which was a forgotten land, which was lying somewhere on the outskirts of the country, far away from Warsaw, at the very end of the
Prawie nie pamiętam.
list of tasks, a region that nobody remembered.
I powiedział te słowa, które
The president
cały czas
came here and said the words
w pomorskich sercach
which
i umysłach rezonują.
have resonated until today in our hearts. The West Pomerania is the Polish
Był wyśmiewany,
raison d'etre.
obśmiewany,
Almost nobody
szydzono
understood
z
that.
niego, szydzono z tej wizji
He was
budowania
mocked.
wielkiej
He was
Polski
laughed at.
i silnego Pomorza.
His vision to build strong Poland and strong West Pomerania was laughed at. But today we do have a great opportunity and a great satisfaction to be meeting at the next stage of fulfillment of this great ambition of the late President of Poland, Lech Kaczyński. We can say that we are fulfilling the last will that he left behind for us, to build a Poland that is strong, a Poland that is a country which is serious, Poland which is one of the most important actors in Europe. These are not just words, these are words which reflect what has been happening for the last 8 years. 8 years ago, we have been given the steering wheel for Poland by the Polish elections. Now we are sailing this beautiful red and white boat on waters, not only Polish waters, but also international ones. That's our ambition, to be the main actor, not only in
Musimy stawiać sobie ambitne cele.
Europe, but to be that, we need to set ourselves ambitious objectives, ones that will be laughed at perhaps by some other people. But
Jesteśmy w tym miejscu i w tym
thank
czasie, w
God,
których niewielu wierzyło.
we will be meeting here, hopefully, in a few years from now, saying that we have built it because we have believed it. We have this belief in West Pomerania. This is a place where people came here after 1945. Our grandfathers, grandmothers, they came from various
Tutaj budujemy Polskę.
nooks and crannies of the world
Twierdzę naszego
to
bezpieczeństwa
the western
energetycznego.
part of Poland, which was the recovered part from Germanston. And we are now building the economy here. The gas port, the Baltic pipe, the offshore energy generation.
Jest nas tutaj na
This
Pomorzu
green
Zachodnim, ale
energy
jest nas
from
dlatego,
the
że mamy przyjaciół.
sea
Mamy
is
przyjaciół w postaci pana
within
prezesa
us,
Wielkiej Polskiej
because we
Grupy
have
ORLEN.
friends,
Mamy
friends
przyjaciółkę w
such
postaci
as the
pani
president of ORLEN. We
minister.
have friends such
Mamy
as
wielkiego przyjaciela,
Ms. Minister. We
Jarosława
have a
Kaczyńskiego,
great
który
friend,
tutaj przyjeżdża,
Jarosław Kaczyński, who
który także
does
kontynuuje
come
tę
here,
myśl, tę wizję
who
prezydenta
does continue
Lecha
the vision and
Kaczyńskiego. Ale mamy też
thought of the late
znakomitych
President Lech
naszych
Kaczyński.
parlamentarzystów
But we also have our
Markiem Grubarczykiem na czele,
outstanding
Leszkiem
members of
Dobrzyńskim,
parliament, Arek Grubarczyk,
Arturem
Leszek Dobrzyński,
Szałabawką,
Artur
nieobecnym
Szałabawka,
Michałem Jachem. No i naszym
Michał
liderem,
Jach, who's absent here
którego
today,
dzisiaj
and our leader,
padła, trzeba
whose
to
name has not been
wymienić,
said
Joachim
today
Brudziński.
yet. But we have to do that. Joachim Brudziński, he's the man that's done a lot for this region, and we need to make a note of that, because without his determination, we would not have been here today. These investments would not have
Pani
happened.
minister mówiła
I would
o
like to
tym
take the
momencie, w którym teraz się
opportunity,
znajdujemy, jest najbardziej
just as the minister said, this is a moment where, which is the most joyful. But to get here, you need
różnego
to
rodzaju procedury,
make the walk.
wydawanie
By
pozwoleń,
making the walk, you need to get all those
najszybciej,
permits,
najsprawniej.
agreements, permissions, and we are the best at it in Poland.
I z tego miejsca chciałem podziękować również
We are the
wszystkim
fastest
osobom
at it.
i
And
mojej administracji
taking the
wojewódzkiej, ale
opportunity
także
here, I would like
służbom,
to
które są
thank everybody who's
reprezentowane,
taken
za
part,
tą wielką
the
pracę, która została wykonana,
Województwie
i za to
administration
porozumienie
and the
zrobione,
representatives
za
here
tą
for
współpracę, nie
cooperation
wymienianie
with ORLEN,
korespondencją,
not
tylko
just for
załatwiania
exchanging
sprawy
correspondence,
tutaj
but for
i na miejscu,
doing things
rozwiązywania tych
right
problemów, a
here,
nie odkładania
right
tych
now,
problemów
without
na później.
postponing
Myślę, że to jest
issues
wielki sukces
for
tych
any
osób,
later
które są na
date.
tej
I
sali.
think
Chciałem
that's
wszystkim
a success of
bardzo,
all the people
bardzo
who have
serdecznie
gathered
za to
here in this room. So I would like to say
podziękować, bo
thank
to
you
jest
to
ten
all
wysiłek,
of you,
którego nie widać, ale
because
bez tego wysiłku
your effort, although
nie
it's
można
not very visible,
osiągać tych
is
celów.
something
Rzecz
that
ostatnia,
makes it
żeby już nie
all
przedłużać.
possible.
Dzisiaj na Pomorzu
One last
Zachodnim
thing. Today,
realizujemy polską rację
at
stanu.
West
Dziękuję
Pomerania,
wszystkim
we
osobom,
are
które
fulfilling the
zajęły
raison
się
d'être.
tym, których dzisiaj wśród nas nie ma, których
Also
nie
thanks to
widzimy.
those who
I
are
będziemy
not
tę
here
polską
with
rację
us
stanu
today.
realizować bez
And we
względu
will
na
be doing that
czy naszym
regardless
sąsiadom na dzisiaj
of
podobało,
whether our Western
czy nie,
neighbors
czy to się
like
nie
it
będzie
or
podobało.
not.
Bo dla nas najważniejsze
Because what is the most important for us is the Polish
polskie
interests,
bezpieczeństwo.
the
Dla nas
Polish
najważniejsi są
security.
Polacy.
For us, it's Poles that are the most
Dla nas najważniejsze,
important.
żeby Polska się
For
rozwijała.
us, it's Poland's
Państwo
development that is the
zrozumieją
most
bardzo dobrze.
important.
Jeżeli
If
tego
somebody
nie
understands
zrozumie,
this,
to my będziemy
that's
robić
good.
swoje.
If they
Wszystkiego
don't,
dobrego.
we will keep doing our
Dziękuję
business.
bardzo.
Thank you.
Zapraszam na scenę pana senatora Jana Dobrzyńskiego.
I would like to ask Senator Jan Dobrzyński to take the floor now.
Co prawda na razie posła Leszka Dobrzyńskiego,
Well,
ale
I am
postaram się pana senatora godnie
a
tutaj
member of
reprezentować.
Parliament,
Szanowni
but
Państwo,
I would like
pan
to
wojewoda mówił
decently
o
represent
historii,
the senator here.
mówił o postaci Lecha
My predecessor
Kaczyńskiego.
spoke about history, about the figure of Lech Kaczyński. I would like to make a reference to a further, more distant past. Józef Piłsudski, who once said that Poland will either be great or will not be there at all. He was not talking about an aggressive country from one sea to another sea. No, he was talking about a strong state, a state that is efficient, that is able to take care of its business, who can develop a country that is able to provide security to its inhabitants, jobs, a country that can be a leading center in the area of the globe where we came to live. These ambitions incite our imagination with modernity, with their far-reaching visions, but they are also about new jobs, about a technology leap into the future. We could say there's no other way for us. We are living in a world that is really moving forward very fast in many domains. So either we will join that global race or we will be left behind. I believe that all of us have so much ambition, so goodwill, and so much pride that we will be able to catch up with the race. What is happening today is evidence that we are able to do that. West Pomerania is our beloved place in the world, and it is developing so well, so beautifully. We want to make it the most developed region in Poland, and we are at it. We are already amazing energy hub, and we will be even more. And we will be doing anything possible to make sure that West Pomerania stands out in the world, that it is spoken about, not only in Europe, but also in America and other continents. Ladies and gentlemen, to everybody who is involved in this project, I hope that everything works according to the schedule. Here is the date of the final date, 2026. Let's make sure this all happens and that in a few years we can say we've done it.
Dziękuję panie.
Congratulations. Let's keep up the good work.
I zapraszam na scenę pana posła Artura Szałabawkę.
Panie ministrze, pani minister.
Mr. Szałabawka, ladies and gentlemen, members of parliament, mayor, governor,
Wszyscy prezesi,
all
wszyscy
presidents
przyjaciele,
and all friends of West Pomerania.
mogę to określić.
Let me say so.
Bardzo mocno się wsłuchiwałem, bo wydawało mi
I
się,
have
że
listened
zostało
to
powiedziane,
what has
ale
been told,
pani minister, nie, to jeszcze
and
pani
I would
wymieniła
like to add, Mrs. Minister mentioned and listed all the projects in West Pomerania. This is one construction, as expansion, as a real expansion development.
akty słowe. te słowa silne Pomorze
The strong West Pomerania is a reason that this is what makes us feel strong. We are capable of moving the hills and mountains. We also have polymers. Dolna Odra power plant, 2 large gas-fired turbines. The ring road of Szczecin, S10 road to Warsaw. I can have the highway, fast traffic. We are not stopped. We keep going forward. And strong West Pomerania, as Poland's rather said. I congratulate on this project. This is something very special to me. We simply say, well, we finish one project, we start another one. This is what you do in the Western Pomerania. I'm proud of it. Thank you very much, Mr. Member of Parliament. Mr. Daniel Grobarczyk, Mrs. Szyszakowska, and Mr. Grobarczyk, please sign the official document to mark the commencement of the construction process. Please sign the document.
Dokument mamy
The
podpisany.
document has been signed.
Bardzo proszę o symboliczne wmurowanie kamienia węgielnego pod budowę portu instalacyjnego.
So please put the
Można robić zdjęcia, to jest
symbolic stone to mark the commencement of the construction work. A cornerstone with some mortar. It's like professional bricklayers.
Dziękuję panie prezesie. Bardzo
Thank you so much. So we would take the official picture.